Hi, welcome to the Destin Business Forum. I'm your host, Amy Perry, and our first guests are with Shoreline Church, Eric Partin and Sam Blows.
Correct. That's his real name.
Right. That is your real name. I like it.
It's not his stage name.
It could be though, right?
Yes.
It could be.
You should say it is your real name and your stage name.
Yes.
That would be a good thing. Okay, Shoreline. I have been to one of your services a couple of years ago,
Really?
I think. Yeah, the one at the rave, right?
Yeah.
It was very well organized. I had, I still have her, but she was about 2 or 3, I think, and it was very organized where the kids go and all that. So tell me how the church got started.
Well, I'm a lifetime, I was born and raised here in the area. Moved away in '87. I was like 25, got married. I didn't go to church, didn't have a real church background at all, but we moved to Central Florida, and I ended up becoming a Christ follower down there and got into the ministry, was in the ministry for 17 years. And whenever I'd come back home, all my friends would kind of still be doing the same thing that I used to do. I was a big partier, you know, which is pretty common in this area. So we just always thought, wouldn't it be great to come back and start a church that my friends would go to, that you know, that go to Hell and Back or to Harbor Docks or Nighttown. So that was kind of the whole idea. And then 2002, we were sprinkling my mom's ashes off of Destin on a charter boat. That's she had passed away, and we just like, well, now's the time. And we kind of started getting things together and came back in 2004, and the church started in 2005.
Wow, and you have another location in? Uptown
Station in Fort Walton Beach. We just started that in April of this year, last year, 2011.
Okay, so how does that work? Do you do one service at Rave and then you go over to Uptown?
Well, actually, we run 2 services on Sunday mornings at the Rave at 9 and 10:30, and then we have a Thursday night service in Fort Walton Beach at the Uptown Station campus at 7 p.m., and we videotape that service, and then the message is shown on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock at the Uptown Station campus. Everything else is live. The band, everything else, all the other elements are live, except for the speaker. But we only do that 50% of the time. About half the time we have a live speaker there. It'll either be me or my associate Sam or one of the other people that we have on the team that can speak.
About how many people would you say attend on a regular basis?
On both campuses, about 700 on a Sunday.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
So, we're excited about that.
I mean, from my experience, it was very, very well organized. You had the kids, you know, going and doing stuff. And
it's important for that you have safety. Your kids, you feel like your kids are safe.
Yes, exactly.
And they're having fun.
Yes,
and then learning something as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have a very low loss rate with kids.
That's good.
Apparently that's important to people.
Okay, when I was looking at some of the information you provided, you had something that caught my eye. It reminded me of a church I went to in Atlanta, where I went to school, and I stayed there for several years after. It was a really big church, and I loved the pastor there because he was just so welcoming of everybody. I mean, it was very formal, but I remember one of the services, they had like a 9, a 10, and an 11:30, and you know, all the younger people, I was much younger back then, but all the younger people went to the 11:30 service, and he would make jokes about people being out, and he's like, you know, did you go home and go to sleep, or did you just come straight from going out and going to church? So anyway, I saw Hangover Sunday, and for some reason that reminded me of that. What is Hangover Sunday?
Well, we were sitting around, and one of the poorest attended services of the year is the first Sunday of the year, because people are still on their Christmas break, and this year it happened to also be New Year's Day, and we thought, well, not only are people not going to be at church because it's the beginning of the year, but also they're still going to be tired, possibly even hungover from the night before, from New Year's Eve. And there's 2 reasons why they wouldn't go to church the next day. 1, because they're still hungover, but 2, a lot of people feel guilty about going out and partying the night before, and guilt has like this 2-week half-life of it takes you a couple weeks to feel better about yourself so you can get back into church again. And so we thought, well, instead of just having a really poorly attended service on, what if we did something that was hangover friendly? In fact, what if we did a service that was geared towards people that might be hungover? And so we advertised it with coasters around placed in some of the local bars. But then we provided free Alka-Seltzer. We did Virgin Bloody Marys, Virgin Mimosas, and Virgin Screwdrivers.
Which is just orange juice.
Otherwise known as orange juice. At the service, we pushed back the start time from 9 to 10 so that we could give people a chance to wake up and sober up a little bit for church.
Kept the lights really low.
Spoke quietly.
The band was kind of...
It was all toned down as well.
But the whole idea behind it is that, like he said, is that we tend to when we feel bad about something that we did, what we do is we hide ourselves from God. I mean, that happened.
Like you could.
Yeah,
really.
but the same happened with the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. And so we just said, that's not the time to hide. That's actually the time to go back to God. And so a hangover, every day should be a hangover Sunday. Every day should be a good day to go back to God. And every day, every church, we believe, should be a hangover church. A great environment for you to be able to go back to God no matter what you've done, whether it was last night or last week. So that was the idea behind Hangover Sunday. Got a lot of, I don't know, criticism a little bit on Facebook because, you know, you're endorsing drinking and you're endorsing partying, but that's not the reason behind it at all.
Doesn't sound like you're endorsing it. It sounds like you're kind of living with the, you know, reality that people do go out and celebrate, and you don't want them to not come to church.
Yeah, and we feel like a lot of people, church isn't even on their radar, isn't even a blip on their radar. If they're hanging out at Crab Island on a Sunday morning, church doesn't even occur to them. Doesn't even, the same way you look at a gym and think, well, that's just for fit people, you know, and the same way a lot of people look at church and think, well, that's just for Christians. And we feel that...
Or church people, we call
just
it.
for church people. Yeah.
You know, the golf course is for golfers, the yacht club is for sailors, the gym is for people who work out, and church is for church people. And our idea behind Shoreline was to create a church for non-church people, which is very difficult. We think it's kind of like opening a steak restaurant for vegetarians. You know, for people.
Good analogy.
So we've done things differently. You have to change things if you want to attract the person from Crab Island, or, you know.
Very welcoming is what I would say when, you know, I just had one experience there, but and I know people that go there regularly, and what they would say is it's just very welcoming. I don't know if we all have, but I've been to churches before that are like that. You know, where's your ID? You're not in, so you can't be here. And I think that does dissuade a lot of people from going. Now, I'm sure you have the stats, but church membership or church attendance is really down in this country, which is kind of surprising. But then you have the big mega churches that seem to, they've tapped into something, it seems like, to welcome everybody. Okay, we don't have very much time, and I wanted to thank you for being in partnership with the Chamber for the Bayou Bay and Back half marathon run
10K and 5K.
Walk.
Yes.
And I know one of you is going to participate, and the other one is leaving the country, so he doesn't have to, right?
That's right. No. I would run it. I ran it last year.
Yeah,
I would
but you're
love to be a part of
out
it.
of the country. That's a nice excuse.
I'm sorry. But.
Okay, so are you a runner?
I wasn't. Actually, our church hosted a Biggest Loser contest last year, and I dropped about 40 pounds in the contest myself.
Wow.
Me too.
And he did also. And we had...
That's why I didn't recognize you guys.
When we had Danny Cahill come in, who was a season winner of The Biggest Loser on TV
Season
show.
8.
Season 8. And so he came into town, we had him speak at our church, and he also participated in the race, which was my first ever 10K. Since then, I've continued to run. I did a marathon in November, and I'll be running the half marathon.
Wow.
This coming race.
Yeah, we did The Biggest Loser was a series that we did at the church, and it was not just about fitness, although we incorporated fitness into it and had 9 contestants compete for a prize. I think the winner lost 118 pounds.
You are kidding.
Nope.
Amazing.
Over what period of time?
6 months or 5 months, something like that.
Yeah, 5.
And we had Danny Cahill coming in, and then we got wind of the race last year and saw that they didn't have a title sponsor yet. So we thought, well, this would be a great opportunity for us, and we could provide Danny Cahill to come out to the race, which would give some more credibility to the race because we were able to pull in NBC affiliates because they had an NBC Biggest Loser there. And so it just was a great opportunity for our church, helped us connect to the community, because part of our vision is to really serve our community with no strings attached. So we were able to come out there and provide volunteers and prizes and things like that. So when it came up this year, we were like, well, let's do it again. This is a good opportunity.
Well, thank you for being our big sponsor. And I will see you out. I will not see you out there. I will see you out there soon. Thank you. I will be directing people, I think.
It'll be towards the back.
Yeah, right. And we will miss you because you will be in a different country. But thank you both for coming, and thank you
for having us.
Shoreline Church.
Thank you.
We'll be back.